Ahoy VC, welcome to the Personal Oasis. This is the Blind Island, and I want to apologize for a week-long hiatus. I had not been feeling very well, and it had been quite a busy week as well. So I needed to take a little break, and we are back though. You should be expecting at least a few videos out this week. I know that I've got a couple of appointments, but should be able to come out with at least 3 or 4. I want to take the time today to dedicate this video to a very good friend who passed away this week. His name was Mike Bailey. We worked together at a record store in Madison, Wisconsin. He was a great guy, one of the best I have ever met, and his love of music is something that I will forever miss, and his friendship is something that I will cherish for the rest of my life. So this video is dedicated to Mike Bailey. And I figured that the best way to get started back from a hiatus is to do a vinyl finds video. Today I'm going to be showing off the vinyl that I found in last month, February. I think that there's some really cool stuff in this stack. It's definitely nothing that's grail material, maybe 1 or 2 that are very special to me, but some really cool stuff. Now, let's get started. First, we're gonna start with what we have playing on the Personal Oasis, and that's Gabor Jabo's Bacchanal. I love this record. I know that a lot of people usually choose Dreams off of this label. It was the Sky label. It was started by himself and another jazz musician. But to me, for my money, this is the superior album. It's definitely my top 3 favorite Gabor Jabot records of all time. That wonderful gypsy jazz, and I highly recommend anyone pick a copy of this up. Next I have introducing the 11th House with Larry Coryell. This is some really wonderful jazz fusion, definitely on the psychedelic rock bent. Super good. It came out the same year that basically the Mahavishnu Orchestra imploded, and these guys came in with a huge splash. I love Larry Coryell's playing on this album, and definitely one to find if you're a fan of that psychedelic rock jazz fusion. Next I have music from Lil Brown by Africa. This is some great psychedelic soul music from the early 70s. It's obviously a take on the music from Big Pink. They recorded all of this music in a tiny little brown shack. Super good, wonderful record. I highly suggest you pick up a copy and listen to the song Widow for sure. Next I have a copy of Blossom Deary's Once Upon a Summertime. This is a mid to late 70s reissue. I got this incredibly cheap because it has a small pressing error on both sides. It plays with a tick throughout that song, otherwise this plays mint. I love this album, I love her vocalization, and definitely one of the most romantic albums in our collection. Next we have the Gun Club, The Las Vegas Story. I love this record. I listened to it probably for 2 weeks straight. I haven't listened much to the Gun Club in the past, but this style of kind of psychobilly meets this blues, crazy blues, I love it, and the lead singer in this album is so emotive. One of my favorite records, definitely to come from last month. Next is an original copy of Leonard Cohen's I'm Your Man. I purchased this one off of eBay for only $14, which was an incredible steal for me. This has definitely been one I've been seeking out for a very long time, and while I think that the record it sounds very dated, I love the songwriting on here, and it's definitely been one that has been on my radar for a very long time, and I'm super happy to have it in our collection. Next we have a UK pressing of Bob Seger's 7. This is a wonderful early Bob Seger album. It's the 7th in his catalog, and while I believe that the Silver Bullet Band made its first credited appearance on this record, it definitely has still that raw, visceral sound that Seeger had in his early days before it became a little AOR bent, and I just love this album. Get Out of Denver is phenomenal, and I wish that they really would reissue these older titles because I feel like there's a lot to be loved on here. Next, I have a UK pressing of the band Nucleus and their greatest hits compilation, Direct Hits. This is also been one that has been on my turntable frequently. It is some of the best rock jazz fusion I have ever heard. It's so funky, so infectious. I love it, and I only paid, I think, $14 for this copy, and I would much rather pay $14 for this compilation than $150 to $200 for an original pressing of any of their original material. I love this band. If you get the chance to look them up on Spotify, definitely give them a listen. You will not regret it. Next, I have a copy of Acquiring the Taste by Gentle Giant. I did do a review on this album, and it turned out to be just a wonderful listening experience. One that I think I'll come back to time and time again, and definitely making me want to find more Gentle Giant in the future. Next, we have Ohio Players' Climax. I really enjoyed this album. It's definitely a little hit or miss, but for only $3, I couldn't pass it up. Early Ohio Players material is fantastic, and I highly suggest that you seek them out. Next, we have The Lively Ones' Surfrider. This had been on my radar for a very long time. This is definitely one of my surf rock grails, and it usually goes on Discogs for about $30. That's what the medium price is, but it's so hard to find a copy that's in decent shape. I purchased this one off of eBay for $8, and it plays VG+. It is so freaking good. I'm so happy to have it in our collection, and one that will definitely get lots of spins come summertime. Next, we have Led Zeppelin's Presence. I'm not a huge fan of this album. I think that it has one of their greatest songs, The Last Stand of Achilles, but other than that, it's pretty mediocre affair by Led Zeppelin. But for $2, I couldn't pass this up. The cover's a little beat, but the vinyl's in great shape. Next, we have T-Rex the Slider. This was one I was super happy to find. I love just the title track to this song. It's definitely one that I return to time and time again, and I only picked this one up for $3. I am so happy to have it in our collection, and one that I will most likely find hitting the turntable on a frequent basis. Next, we have Booker T and the MGs, The Spirit of Christmas. I found this record in one of our bargain bins, and this is one of those rare Christmas albums that you just don't see all that often. I was surprised that it was in the dollar bin. The sleeve is in such great shape. You just don't see Booker T and the MGs in that good of shape. And the vinyl plays, I would say, VG+, even though it looks around VG. I love this Christmas album, and it's the second iteration of it. First pressings are incredibly rare to come across, but even these second pressings are very difficult to find. And for getting it for $1, I couldn't ask for more. Definitely one of the best finds of the last month. And next we have Leonard Cohen's Death of a Ladies' Man. I did my review on this. If you want some more information on it, check that one out. But this is one of my favorite Leonard Cohen albums of all time, and I'm so happy that it's in our collection. Next, we have Johnny Hartman's I Just Dropped By to Say Hello. This is some prime-time male vocalist jazz material. Most well known for his album with John Coltrane. This album by Johnny Hartman just boasts some wonderful material, and I purchased this one for $3. I love the Impulse label, and I couldn't believe that I got it for $3 because it's actually a mono promo copy. If you want to see that, that's just a gorgeous white label. indicating that promo pressing. It plays VG. I just couldn't believe that I got it for $3, and it's one that will be cherished in our collection for a long time to come. Next, we have McCoy Tyner Plays Ellington. I love this album. I believe that it's definitely some of the smoothest piano jazz I've ever listened to. Picked this one up also for $3. It has one of the ugliest covers of all time, but I'm very happy to have it in our collection. And yeah, definitely check it out when you get a chance. Next, we have The Soft Machine, self-titled debut for the ABC Probe label. I can't believe that I found this record for the price that it was at. It was only $5. The sleeve is in a little rough shape, has a little tear right here, but it plays through great. It's definitely not my favorite by The Soft Machine. Their early material, I don't know what was going on in the studio, but it sounds sludgy and muddy. I might have to get a remastered version later on because this is some really great psych jazz infused music, and very, very enjoyable. And finally, what I think is the top grail or the top pick of this month would have to be the 1974 US reissue of Aphrodite's Child 666. This has been on my radar for a while, but I hadn't fully listened to it until last week. And once I listened to it, I knew I had to have it. I went to Antique Mall, and there it was sitting, and it was only $15. I couldn't believe it, and I scooped it up right away. It is one of the best rock albums of all time. If you're a fan of Captain Beefheart, Zappa, I would highly recommend this album to you because it is very experimental. It's got some really strange passages. It's not for everyone, but it is one of the best pieces of music I've ever listened to in my entire life. And just to give you a better look at the record and the sleeve, it has that wonderful gatefold. I love that Vertigo label. And being that it is a late 70s reissue, it doesn't have the original swirls. It has those spaceships. But they're still really wonderful. I love this album. So great. I highly suggest that you get a chance to listen to it when you can, because it will definitely change your mind as far as experimental prog rock is concerned. Aphrodite's Child 666, best pick of February 2020. So what did you guys think? Did you see anything in there that you might want in your own collection? Anything that you think I should add to our collection in the future by these artists? Please let me know in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day on your own personal oasis. Cheers.